Hello and welcome to the first of these short videos where we will be taking a closer look at tarot decks and also other occult equipment and paraphernalia. I've chosen this one to be the first of this because it's a particularly nice tarot deck. It's the Sola Busca Tarot. It's the version which is available licensed by Brera, and the first thing to really say about it is the quality of the packaging, the boxing that comes with it. It says museum quality on there, and this really is a very lovely presented tarot deck. The box opens up like this, and there you have your little white book. If you like to keep your tarot cards in a box rather than loose or wrapped in a cloth, then you probably won't need to find another box for these, because this is a nice solid box. It's going to last you a long time, and it's very, very nicely presented. So that's the first thing to look at there. Secondly, you have a lovely ribbon here which lifts up, and this is your little white book. As you can see, it's not actually a little white book in the normal sense. It's a nice perfect bound paperback book of around about 120 something pages. Very nicely presented again, very nice design, full colour illustrations in there. There's only a few of those. However, before you get too excited about that book, it does have instructions in 7 different languages. So if English is your first language, then only around the first 40 or so pages will be of any use to you. Of that, the first 20-25 pages are a concise but fairly thorough history of the origination of the cards in medieval Italy. Last few pages are fairly short and vanilla correlation of meanings to the different cards, and there's there you go, just literally get one line each for each of the suit cards in the minor arcana. So yeah, a very nice little book, high quality, not hugely useful for decoding the tarot cards themselves, and we'll get into that when we start looking at the cards themselves, which we're going to do right now. So again, you pull on the ribbon and up come the cards, and there they are. The first thing you notice about these cards is that the quality and the thickness of the deck. The cards themselves don't feel particularly thick, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that deck there like that, and next to it I'm going to put the my Grimoire Marseille deck, and this is my standard Rider-Waite deck. You can see it's around about 25% to 30% thicker than some of these other decks, and so that really does speak to the quality of the card and the feel you have of them in your hand as well. They are quite large cards. I mean, this is a standard Rider-Waite deck, and that's the Sola Busca card, and next to that is the large format Crowley Thoth deck. So certainly comparable in size, if not width, to the Crowley Thoth deck, which makes shuffling them a kind of slow and deliberate process. So you're not going to rush it. You're not going to just kind of start shuffling those decks like it's a poker deck. It's something the slight awkwardness in your hands, the size slightly too big for slightly too big, to manage easily, makes it a more thoughtful and mindful process to actually shuffle the cards. So let's look at the cards themselves. So next, let's have a look at the cards themselves. These are very beautifully engraved and then illustrated. So that's the first 3 cards of the Major Arcana. One thing you're going to have to really take on board if you do buy this deck is that the Major Arcana are not the traditional style of 22 trumps which you're familiar with. Each trump is a figure from ancient Roman, Greek, or even biblical history. So this card here, card 0, corresponds to the Fool. And it's clearly somebody wearing a Roman robe and some kind of hat, wearing playing bagpipes there. And this one here is the Magician, which corresponds to this card as well. So you can see they are very different in the major trumps. Now, a lot of people may find that difficult because, for a number of reasons. One is you're not going to get a lot of the visual keys which you're used to seeing in the tarot decks that you're used to. So there is no death card, there's no chariot, there's no tower, there's none of those things which you'll be well familiar with. So it's a question of decoding the meanings of these particular cards from what's in them. The second area where that can be problematic is all of the major arcana feature only what some people will call dead white men. So there's no papess, there's no empress, there's no female figure of the star. So if you are working out of a system where the feminine principle is very important to you, then you may struggle with the major arcana in this deck because there aren't any feminine figures or principles in it. When you go to the minor arcana, of course, there still are the queens of each suit, but that's only 4 cards. So we're going to be looking at that very shortly. We're now going to have a look at the minor arcana, and the good news for people who like the Coleman Smith and A. Waite deck is that this is a deck where there's the picture cards for each of the minor arcana. So in addition to the Queen and the Knight, you'll also have some of these rather lovely images on the normally what would just be pip cards, and some of them are just fairly straightforward elaborations of 4 swords, and others are really bordering on the surreal, like this rather lovely card here, the 5 of coins, which shows a man wearing a cloak of bird's feathers. It's almost kind of a Max Ernst kind of feel to that one. Certainly it seems that the Sola Busca Tarot was one which inspired A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith to devise their own deck. In the early part of the 20th century, the family which owned this original deck made photographs available to the British Museum, and it's almost certain that these cards were seen by Pamela Coleman Smith, and you can certainly see there's some correspondences there. So 3 of Swords there, and the 3 of Swords in the Pamela Coleman Smith deck. And here we have the 6 of Coins, depicting a man working at an anvil. And here we have the 8 of Coins, there showing a man similarly at work there, though their image corresponded to a different number. Likewise in the Wands deck, 7 of Wands depicts a man bent over by the weight of his burden, and the 10 of Wands there in Coleman Smith's design, showing a very similar image. So, in conclusion, Sola Busca Tarot in this presentation, very nicely presented, very high quality, beautifully printed and designed cards, and certainly a great addition to anyone's collection of tarot cards. For divinatory purposes, you're going to have to get your head around the 22 trumps being completely different. But other than that, they have the wonderful imagery on each of the pip cards, and they are really a beautiful thing to have and own. And I think if you make the effort, it will be a deck that you can actually really engage with.